The B2B blueprint to push you past six figures a month in less than 90 days. Okay, I'm going to break down the actual truths about the lead generation going on right now, agencies, and what it actually looks like building a scalable ecosystem in today's day and age. Okay, and exactly why you guys must own your lead sources to scale past six figures a month. All right, so the uncomfortable truth, right? Again, this is mainly going to be for B2B funding brokers that we love talking to, and as well, we've been testing with our new software. Okay, now this is still congruent across the entire B2B space, genuinely from all of our different partners and meetings that we've gotten on. Okay, like you're dependent on either referrals, which are unpredictable and capped to an extent of your network, right? You've outsourced agencies, which is expensive and low quality. Okay, you're buying stepped on leads. Everyone else is calling them too. You're having to worry about speed to lead and all these little other metrics. Or you're still in the market trying to hire these new marketers, right? Which is time consuming, which makes it expensive, and it's slow and unreliable as well. Okay? And if you're relying on these different verticals, right, or are still in these processes, odds are you've plateaued at no more than 50 to 100K a month, and you really can't scale beyond that without your effort. Okay? And I want to show you the exact systems you can implement today to break you past 100K a month in less than 90 days, start funding over $1 million, $10 million a month, because it's actually not a lot, guys. It's not a lot, all right? And so the reality of the situation, agencies cost per lead, they're going to be generating you is about 50 to 150 bucks. Average close rate on cold leads are 2 to 5%. 60% of the leads you're going to be buying or more are stepped on leads, right? And the cost per close on the agency side of things are like, 1 to 3K actually when you break down the numbers, your investment, ROI, right? Whole nine yards, okay? And the agency problem is the fact that 73% of agencies don't provide actual exclusive leads, okay? Your competitors are calling the same people. So these agencies you think you're buying exclusive leads from, they're just rinsing these leads and giving it out literally to the people that you're trying to sell against. Okay? Average agency markup is at about 3 to 5x the actual lead cost. Okay? Lead quality is declining in the market, right? And especially if you don't get to them first, like it drops drastically, right? It drops almost 40% after first contact if you don't close these people, okay? And scaling cost, okay? It doubles every time you want to 2x volume, right? So like unpredictable and genuinely not scalable, especially like buying leads, right? And then like hiring new marketers, like genuinely doesn't work either, okay? Like a good marketer is going to be around that 3 to 8K a month minimum mark, genuinely, right? It's going to take them 30 to 60 days to understand your systems, get in there, and start actually getting real results. In the market right now, I would say this 40% turnover rate in first year. I think that's higher. I think it's around 50, 60% like actual churn rate in the market right now. So many people have been burnt by agencies or even those shit lead vendors, right? And like a true cost to hire, like, because I'm talking to people that have worked with 2, 3, 4 marketing agencies before and tried all these different sources, right? And it's like you've spent 15, 20, 30K investing into scale, which is the right thing to do, right? But we're investing into the wrong stuff that's not actually going to get you an ROI, okay? So the reality of this situation is that most marketers don't understand your specific business model, right? They need constant management and training. So you hire them and then you're still having to, oversee them and look over them, right? A high turnover means you're always going to have to be rebuilding, right? You can start building systems around them, but as soon as they leave or get a bigger client and start neglecting you, then it still falls back into your lap, right? It's not scalable internally, and you're paying for the learning curve, right? Not actual results. They leave and they take your systems with them, or the systems that they were supposed to bring on leaves with them as well. And again, Not scalable. Not scalable. Bottom line, hiring a marketer is a fixed cost that doesn't scale with your revenue. You're betting on one person or a team's performance, okay? And again, you don't need to be doing that, right? And to dive into this stepped on leads crisis, because this is really where a lot of the B2B space is at, right? Like when you buy from these lead vendors, you guys already know, right? And if you don't, hate to break it to you, you're not the only one calling these leads, unless it's like, the Fundly where it's like, if you dial them within the first 3 minutes and you get a special code, then now this code becomes your own exclusive lead. But then still, if you can't reach this lead within the first 24, 48 hours, they literally tell you that this lead is going back onto the market, right? And I just don't know why you guys pay for that. But if it works, it works. Don't change what works. Again, I just want to show you a scalable system you can add on top of what you're already doing, so you can get an extra, 80, 100 qualified calls coming in a month and actually scale a team and scale processes so you can build real freedom with real systems. All right. So what happens to a stepped on lead? They generate this lead, they arbitrage it to 5 or more brokers, right? This person's going to get 10 plus calls, and then it's the first to close them wins, right? And that is like simply garbage, if I'm being honest, right? 60% or more of the leads on the market that people are buying are sold multiple times. Like even after you close these deals, they're still arbitraging the lead out and trying to undercut like your deal or get them in their ecosystem to get refunded again or things of that sort, right? There's an 80% close rate drop after them getting called 3 times from 3 different brokers, okay? And now at this point, you've wasted probably 500 or 1,500 or more on these actual stepped-on leads. And if I'm being honest, the close rate average right now in the market for this is about 2 to 3% of the actual leads that they're generating and are getting closed, right? Which is not optimal. Okay, guys. The truth here, you're competing with 4 or 5 other brokers for the same lead. First person to call wins. Everyone else wastes their money. So there's only really one way we've genuinely seen to scale past 6 figures, and it's the fact that you must own your own qualified lead source. It's as simple as that. Okay, the companies doing over 100K or 10 million, funding $10 million a month, all have this in common, hands down. They generate their own leads, whether that's ads, outbound, content. They own exclusive lead sources, right? So no one else is calling them. They have predictable lead flow, so they're not just dependent on referrals. They delegate to systems, not people. That's a huge one. Right? They delegate to systems, not people. And then they scale without hiring more salespeople, right? Like I talked to a guy the other day. He has 5 brokers under him, and he was looking to get more qualified leads in to funnel his brokers. And when he's talking about scale, it's still bringing on more salespeople and showing them how to bring on more salespeople, right? So they can start building, the downline and everything rolls back up to him, like kind of these MLM or broker B2B models work, right? Well, at the top of the funnel, we have to have an influx of qualified leads in the first place to even scale this thing, right? And so, again, I want to show you guys exactly how you can own all of your lead sources, get rid of paying these lead vendors, pay yourself, right? And just lean on actual systems to scale you and not people, right? Not agencies, not operators, right? Lean on systems, and this way you can actually scale, and then you can worry about hiring more salespeople, right? Like down the road, okay? So to dive into it, the one operating system that genuinely works, right? And there's a specific system that every successful B2B funding company uses to scale past 6 figures, right? It's a 4-part ecosystem. Top of funnel, like I was breaking down, is lead generation, right? Then we're going to dive into the middle of funnel, which is the qualification and distribution of the lead. And then it's the bottom of funnel where you guys are handling the funding. At the end of the day, the only thing you should be doing when you're running a successful operating system is getting on calls with qualified funding, like people that need funding and that are qualified to get funding and want it now with urgency. Okay? So, really, dialing in these three aspects right here is where you can start actually curating like personalized systems to fit your business model, your reps, the lead quality that fits your ideal customer, right? Like around the exact qualifications, and then the distribution process. So again, you're not having to do anything at the top besides either hop on these qualified funding deals or literally collect because they're getting distributed to your team. Okay? And so what this means, right? So paid ads, right? You can expect around 30 to 50 qualified calls coming in a month. Cold calling, so proven outbound processes, right? And this is what we built our whole software around, actually, is these outbound processes. Of course, paid ads is warm inbound stuff as well as content. But as far as the cold calling and even LinkedIn within the B2B space, which is huge right now, right? This is going to give you anywhere between 80 to an extra 100 qualified calls a month from just outbound without paid ads and without content and referrals, right? Now, what's special about this acquisition lever that we've even helped scale inside of 20 plus B2B companies is the fact that we give them access to our software. Now, if you're getting this video, we've probably already talked about our software, offered you 100 free leads, and you've seen the leads are qualified based on the niche and the parameters and scope you've given us. Okay, and if you are new here to this video or saw on the channel, this is what we talk about, right? It's how our software has literally given us over 92% lead quality from an outbound perspective, whether that's sending outbound DMs or outbound LinkedIn messages or doing cold calls. This is why we know every single touch point is targeted. And that metric right there, that lead quality metric is the first metric you have to worry about before you can dive into like your close rate or your show rate and like all of the little things, right? Like if you don't have actual qualified leads coming in, then you have to address that first. And that's literally why we built this whole software. Okay, so cold calling is going to bring you in qualified meetings, right? Around genuinely 40 or more. This is very conservative numbers. I can even share my screen right here of what it looks like. Okay. Our team is at 4 calls so far on the day. It's 3 o'clock. But they're at, I believe, 20 or so this week. Last week they did 26. Week before that they put up 35 booked calls. Like literally this is just tracking our cold call section, right? So not paid ads, not LinkedIn, right? It's really special when you know that every touch point your team is doing is to a targeted person, and then you can actually build real systems around this because there's proven operating procedures and you can dial in the pain points, your audience, your ICP, and the SOPs become just seamless and rinse and repeat. Okay? Now, the qualification and distribution process. So this is top of funnel, right? Paid ads, cold call, LinkedIn. Total around 90 to 130 extra qualified calls coming in a month. Then you got the middle of funnel qualification and distribution processes where, you can have an automated warm dial process, pre-call objection handling, right? Actual lead scoring and routing, right? So again, only people that are serious are going through and buying, right? And then you can distribute to your broker network if that's how you want your business set up. Some people want to keep them continue to take sales calls and, have the money for themselves. They're not really caring about scaling brokerages. Either way, you want to get past 6 figures a month, and you should and you need to own your own lead sources, and this is the exact system and processes you guys need to implement. Okay, so the result here, you generate 90 to 130 extra qualified calls a month from your own lead sources, right? No competition, no stepped on leads. It's predictable and it's scalable revenue. Okay, so the first channel, paid ads. Okay, this is going to be your fastest ROI and the greatest actual return on spend you're going to get genuinely. Now, cold calling as well, I think, has been a like side by side with paid ads for us, right? And even some of our partners, right? Like one of our boys got 100 free leads from us the other day. He dialed 20 of them. He had like 5 people pick up, booked 2 of them, closed the first guy that hopped on a call with him. Okay, insane numbers, and he just put that money and dumped it right back into ads because I mean, cold calling, the only investment there is honestly time and like if we talk about implementation, we give you guys these qualified leads to dial and show you how to scale a team around it and all the processes, right? But here or there, this first channel, right? Paid ads, your fastest ROI, right? So we're gonna dial in your ideal customer, right? Your ICP, okay? Whether this is business owners, real estate investors, whoever it may be, logistics companies, right? In a direct response messaging way, so people become problem and solution aware of you on the market, make you an expert, right, in your space. That way, again, you can start carving out your own lane, right? Like the B2B space is like almost like $500 billion industry. So for you guys to get 100K a month, like $1 million a year, like there's so much space for you guys to do that, okay, and make your own lane within this. All right. We run lead form campaigns and help you build out the VSLs and funnels, right? So we capture all the contact info. Then that runs to an automated warm dial that qualifies the leads. And then the booked calls either go to you or your team and start the, actual sales process, the bottom of the funnel, right? Now, some people ask, like, okay, like, what does the actual warm dial processes look like? Like, who's doing that? Is that AI, right, or what? Honestly, we tried the AI dialers and even the cold callers, right? Doesn't work. It doesn't work. To an extent, it does. Like, genuinely, we tested it with one guy. He was doing 2,200 calls a day. 30 people picked up. 8 actually got into, like, the positive conversation. And he was booking, like, 2 people a day from 2,200 dials. Like, that is shit. That is so bad. That is so bad. When literally our guys, their metrics are to do literally the minimum $100 a day, and each one of them book anywhere between 6 to 10 people a day. Okay, so like a human is always going to work best, especially right now when AI is like a buzzword and like it's scammy. Like it's still a little bit scammy right now unless you're talking to the right people, right? So we built a network of literally high quality, valuable B2B people that all want to come internally into companies and work on commission and grind, right? Be a part of your internal team and actually help you scale to 6 figures a month. All of them as well are trained up on the B2B space from all of our SOPs that we do have. And we show you guys how to not only track these KPIs at an extremely high level from your ads and what you're actually spending, but all of your overall metrics, right? We built this super cool software on the side and system for you to understand exactly where your company's getting bottlenecked at. That way, if implementation makes sense, we can point you to our exact operating procedures to help address your bottlenecks and then literally personalize every step of this process with you so that, again, you can see your overall metrics, you know what's going on, you can get out of Google Sheets and tracking data, wherever you track data, right? Because I know a lot of people use Go High Level or Zoho or Salesforce, but still they don't even track data to the extent in the intricacy, like as deep as it needs to be for you to address like where people are getting bottlenecked and what's actually going on inside of your company, right? So that's the first channel, right? Paid ads, you'll get around 30 to 50 qualified calls a month. Show rate on average is about that 50 to 70%. 20 to 30% is the industry standard close rate. I'm sure you'll be higher if you know what you're doing in this B2B space. Average cost per call. Up front, I would say this is common up front, anywhere between that $50 to $100. Cost per qualified call coming in, right? But right now, this is honestly around that $30 to $35 mark for really good, high quality B2B leads that are converting at a high level, right? And now the timeline, so you guys know of how fast we move. We get ads live in the first 5 days. So we dial in all of these operating procedures up front of like, okay, this is where we're going to be sprinting at. Let's get all of these scripts aligned, hiring, delegating, right? And sprint at getting ads launched in the first 5 days, optimize and generating consistent calls way before that day 30. And then we continue to start scaling the different acquisition levers, right? So not only are we giving you the systems and the processes to generate your own highly qualified leads, but we're showing you guys how to do it from multiple acquisition sources so you can consistently do over 100K a month. If ads go down, and let's say like Meta rolled out the Andromeda processes or whatever they call it, right? Like not too long ago, a couple months back, and it completely changed like how ads were performing, right? Well, that's okay if you have another predictable acquisition source that you can lean on to sustain you until you dial back in ads, right? But it's like, if you guys are only leveraging referrals and, no one goes and markets your company this week or tells another person about it, you don't have any leads coming in. And that can't be the case. It's not scalable. It's not predictable. We need predictable lead generation sources and revenue sources for you to actually scale, okay? So how this works on the cold calling aspect, like I said, we give you access to our network, or as well, some people already have a team and processes of that sort. Give you guys over targeted leads to dial, right? Proven cold calling scripts with all the objection handling and processes your team can lean on to be able to continue to optimize and refine their own processes, right? Delegate the processes to a trained cold caller, whether, like I said, that's someone you already have or you're taking from our network. So you had to delegate that properly, right? On the minimum, they need to be doing at least $80 a day. That'll 100% guarantee you more than 40 plus qualified calls a month. And then you guys can just throw fuel in the fire here. Like right now, we have really two main internal cold callers, right? We had scaled up to about 4 and like 5, but then we cut back, right, to 2, and now we're honestly looking to bring on a third, right? So we kind of jumped in, saw who was serious. Now they're absolutely ripping, booking us out, and we want to throw in another absolute dog, okay? And all the booked calls continue to go to your team, right? Because this is just your top of funnel, and then everything goes back into the middle of funnel processes that we're going to be help dialing in, right? And making this just, again, an actual acquisition system that you can lean on to scale past 6 figures a month, right? So on average, 40 plus qualified calls a month, 50 to 60% show rate. I'll say ours right now is around 72%. We just did those numbers. 20 to 30% close rate, industry standard. And the cost per call, right? Really no cost per call, if I'm being honest here. I should have edited that out before I did that. Only cost per call is the time invested, right? I would say cost per call, 25 to $50. That would be like the actual like cost it like to pay your team, right? Which is extremely fair. And again, you're really just paying yourself, which is how it should be. Okay. We can get cold callers and all these systems onboarded by that day 10. Everyone trained up and dialing no later than day 15. That way you have consistent calls and another consistent acquisition source before that day 30. All right. That's kind of the speed in which we move about it. Again, because we go step by step through this process of establishing and implementing this internally within your own company and your own processes, right? LinkedIn, a bit of a slower grind. We give qualified leads over there, but slower, but super qualified. Like, LinkedIn is strictly just B2B leads, right? So you don't have tire kickers opting in or low-hanging fruit or people that are unserious, right? Like, very just like authoritative-based DM sequences, right to the point in a B2B manner. This will bring you an extra 20 or 40 qualified calls a month. Same industry, metrics, and same metric here. Like, you're really just paying your team for, them booking and closing and them getting, their 5 to 10%. And you can fix that into what it actually costs per qualified lead, right? Same thing, same timeline as the cold calling. So all of this is literally going live together. That way, again, before that day 30, you have multiple acquisition channels coming in that are sustainable and predictable within your own company. And then all we do is stay on and consult at a really high level, right? You guys are going to be on the conservative level, generating anywhere above, 90 to 130 booked qualified calls a month. giving you around, that 20 to 40 closes a month on just industry standard 20-30% numbers. That puts you, like, if you're in the B2B funding space, on like just an average ticket size of like 200K, right? I mean, you're funding anywhere of the ballpark between 5 to 10 million, right? Like, crazy. And then those commissions are well over six figures, right? And you guys are scaling and you're off to the races, right? So the key advantages here: exclusive leads, right? You're generating your own exclusive leads. No one else is calling them. It's predictable. You know exactly how many calls you'll get and where your own company's getting bottlenecked. It's scalable, so you can add more channels, you can increase volume, scale more people, right? It's delegated, so we not only help implement these, we show you how to entirely delegate all these processes with these SOPs we have built, right, in kind of our SOP library that we give out, okay, when you get access to the software, right? And it's profitable, right? It's lower cost per close than agencies or buying leads, and it's way more scalable, guys. Like, it's way more scalable. And this is exactly how companies within your space are scaling to 100K to even $1 million plus a month with their own lead sources. They don't depend on referrals, agencies, or hired marketers, right? Like, referrals are an add-on. They're a bonus, right? Because those, I mean, you can close like 80 to 100% of those. Literally, those are laydowns, right? So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now as a bonus here, I do want to throw in the actual, like, what it looks like in the middle of funnel. If you've stuck around this long and you want to hop on a call with us again to actually break down what this looks like inside of your company, I'll build you out another free personalized game plan we can walk through, right? And we'll literally get on, break it down. I'll show you what implementation looks like. And either way, I want you to take all of these processes and go at it with speed. Okay, success loves speed. All right. So the middle of funnel, like actual qualification and distribution system, right? Like, again, raw leads are invaluable, qualified leads are. So the process, right, is obviously step one, we're going to lead capture. So the lead comes in, whether that's from ads, cold call, or LinkedIn, the top of funnel channels that I just mentioned and broke down, right? We're going to have an automated system that actually captures contact info, enters into your CRM, right? And I actually want to share what one looks like at a really high level right now. Okay. Let me have that load up, right? Step two is going to be the warm dial qualification. So warm dial calls them, honestly, within the hour, qualifies the lead, their budget, timeline, authority, deepens problem awareness, introduces solution. Excuse me. Okay? So this is super important. These people need to be problem aware and solution aware when the time they get to your call, or they won't convert. Like, these people won't be ready to buy. Okay? Now, we help, again, dial in all of these SOPs. We have all of our best practices documented in a plug-and-play fashion that we can literally just implement into your company based on where you're at, where you're getting bottlenecked, whole 9 yards. It doesn't seem to want to load. But at least from a CRM middle funnel perspective, you guys can at least see, right, what it looks like, okay? So this is go high level, and again, I know some people use different CRMs, but we have plug-and-play processes where, depending on what you're running, like with SDM funnel, from ads, funding acquisition, right? You need help with fulfillment, right? You need automations for, the credit repair leads, or like the low-ticket lead funnel you have, right? Or the tripwire, the ebooks, right? We have all of these in a plug-and-play fashion, from automations and workflows of best practices, right? The different assets they need to get dripped in this middle funnel process, and the actual scripts and the documentation of what it looks like to convert people at an extremely high level. That way, again, you're leaning on systems and proven processes to scale you past six figures a month, okay? And as well, from a funnel standpoint, plug-and-play funnels that you can literally take and implement and run and literally use as a part of your internal systems and operating systems, like operating structure, for you to scale, okay? This is what the middle funnel looks like, right? So the warm dial qualification will happen right after these people book. That is huge. And they need pre-call assets, okay? So we have all of these, again, documented what pre-call assets are needed, from like breakout videos, confirmation pages, frequently asked questions, email assets, text assets, right? Long form assets, right? Authority videos, case studies, the qualification checklist, right? The lead arrives at the sales call pre-educated. Like that is everything, all right? And then from there, you can just distribute it to your brokers, right? So like for our one guy here, I don't want to share too much information if I'm gonna be honest, but I'm gonna click in it right quick. As you can see here, 106 leads on the funding side of things, and then as well over here, 180 opportunities on his credit repair downsell. Okay, so almost 300 qualified leads in his pipeline right now, and his team is absolutely ripping. Right, they're printing right now. And then from there, you can literally just distribute it, right? Like, so when it hits the pipeline, it gets sent out to the brokers. They can have tags, automations, where it's like, hey, new lead opted in. If you're using Go High Level, they can download the app. So as soon as a lead comes in, they can literally pick up the phone, call them, right? Especially after you qualify them, you've set processes in place where it's like, okay, these people are only talking to qualified leads. Your team, right? Or if not, they're booking them into your calendar where you can call them with speed. Okay? So, guys, I want you to take this, build your own ecosystem, like high ticket B2B ecosystem, right? And take it in scale. Okay? Like, take it and genuinely scale. All right? Now, if you guys want to actually see what the 90-day implementation plan looks like and you want a deeper dive into it, right, and want to see how, kind of post-implementation, what it looks like, the, 90-day breakdown, and after the 90 days, how we, allow people to stay within our network and, position them for kind of our upsell, which will push them, further into their journey of scaling, right? And you want to get past 6 figures a month. Make sure you reach out to us. And outside of that, I hope this was valuable and you guys can take stuff from this. If there's anything to take from this, go dive into building your own systems and owning your own lead generation source. All right, let's get qualified meetings coming in early as tomorrow. Motion.